Back in Revit, we will want to be in a 3D view, and of course, we are in the mechanical model. We have already linked the most current structural model that we downloaded from Glue. Similar to what we demonstrated earlier, it may be advantageous to have a preset view defined to match your subsets in BIM 360 and to have the visibility adjusted accordingly. We are now ready to access the clash report that was generated by Structural. I will navigate to the Add-ins tab on my ribbon. I will click on the by now familiar Clash PinPoint button. A dialog appears indicating all of the clash reports available. I will select the appropriate clash report and click Enter Report. A new dialog list appears, this time indicating the individual clashes within the report. Notice not all 35 clashes are listed, but only the ones Structural checked to include in the report. What I like to do here is multi-select all of the clashes by selecting the first clash, scrolling down to the last, and Shift Select. Now that all are highlighted, I will click Show Clashes. You now witness the head scratcher we alluded to earlier, in that all previously visible elements disappear, and I'm left only with the clashing elements in my mechanical model. We can now introduce our view filter to maintain the isolation of the clashing elements while bringing back the structural model visibility. I will window select all of the mechanical elements present. I will filter the selection to identify what categories are present. With my multiple categories still selected, I will move over to the Properties dialog. In the Properties dialog, under Identity Data, I will enter clashes in the comment field. Go ahead and select Apply. We can now define our filter by going to Visibility Graphics. Click on the Filters tab. See, I do not currently have any filters defined for this particular view. Select Edit New. In the Filters dialog, I will click on the Add Filter button. I will name the filter Clash, leaving the Define criteria checked, and click OK. I need to define the categories to which the filter will apply. I will select all the categories that we previously captured. Now we can apply the filter rules. We will filter by comments, of course. Select Does Not Contain as a rule. A good rule of thumb here is if the intent of a filter is to turn off objects to which the filter applies, it is best to use a rule that has inverted logic. By that I mean, instead of asking Revit to show what should be seen, tell Revit to hide the objects that should not be seen. We'll go ahead and select OK. I need to click Add to apply our clash filter we just defined. I'll select Clash from our list here. Now, something that can be a little tricky is the visibility. Remember, our rule said include elements that do not contain the comment field. Because I want the reverse and only want to see elements that have the clash comment, I will uncheck visibility. It appears my filter has worked, and I am only seeing those particular elements involved in the clash. I now want to refine my structural model elements as well. I will do this back in the visibility graphics. I will customize my structural link. In model categories, I will elect to hide all categories except those present in the clash run. If you will recall, that would be the structural columns and structural framing. We can go ahead and select OK. At this point, my coordination view is slightly more manageable. The mechanical engineer can now focus on the particular elements involved. He or she would study how best to reroute or move any of the isolated elements and would proceed accordingly.